Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today?
Well, I'm definitely going to be staring off at the TV instead of the camera. I can already tell that. Let us know how we sound out there in the ether there. We want to make sure we sound all right. Can you hear us? That's very important. But hope you all having a good Friday. We're all gathered here together in good old Cincinnati, Ohio, doing some planning for the year, setting our goals for the year, talking about goals this week. The Service Alliance Group actually does plan and make goals, believe it or not. We don't just completely wing this thing, contrary to popular belief.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
It might be about 50-50, actually, but, we do our best. We do our best. How's everybody doing in Facebook? Check in, drop a comment. Are you excited about having me come visit, EJ?
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, we're in Cincinnati right now going over some Service Alliance Group plans for the year, getting our goals straight. And I'm actually going to visit EJ. We're going to be shooting a lot of footage the next few days. I'm going to go to EJ's, check out his new store, check out his crew, meet the team, do some training and different things with them and just hang out. I'm excited about it. Are you?
Oh, yeah. I got the whole team scheduled to be in the shop for the first 4 hours of Monday. And we're going to kind of do a group training session. Each one of them is supposed to bring something to train the rest of us on. And they're all excited about having the special guest, TK Cousins, the man with the plan of the Service Alliance Group.
I'm excited about it. I've been friends with EJ for quite a few years now, and he's visited me. He's been to Virginia several times, but I've never made it to Kentucky. So when we planned this trip and I knew I was going to be about an hour or so away, I was like, you know what, let me spend a couple extra days down here and go down there and check out my boy's operation. So I'm pretty excited about it. Also been pretty stoked about this owners retreat. We're just meeting up to, talk about plans for the year, which goes great with the theme for this week because the theme is goals. And it worked out perfectly because that's literally what we're talking about today, our goals for the year. And I'm excited about it. As many of you know, 2024 was a tough year for me, which also resulted in kind of a wonky year for the Service Alliance Group. But we got some new things going on. I'm the official community manager of the Service Alliance Group now, so that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to stepping into that role. We haven't locked it down in stone yet. We're still waiting on someone's approval. But
let's be real. You've always kind of been the community manager.
Yeah.
And so it was just reorganizing the company to actually put our butts in the right seats.
And, we talk about goals and we talk about all these different things week after week after week. But really, one thing that I noticed that I really appreciated yesterday is how the four of us get into a room and the things start flowing and stuff just happens. Ideas come up. I mean, there were some ideas that came up yesterday that were great ideas. And I've been just really impressed. And also like how we feed off of one another and everyone's strengths. That's perfect, Zach, because I keep staring at the TV. Everyone's strengths play a part. So as we're going into things and doing, we have an agenda, we have all that stuff and I'm telling you guys all this because this is the way you should be doing your meetings back home. If you're a one-man show, you're probably not having meetings with yourself. You're meeting with yourself in the mornings, probably just getting ready for the day. But if you have 2 or 3 people working with you, it's so important to get together and have these type of meetings and just see what comes of it. See what I always encourage my team when I meet with them. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. Like this is a team. We're all in this together. And it really works out good that way.
You mean I can't meet with myself in the truck in the morning?
You can still do that if you want to.
No, but so one man show, like you still have to sit down, and that's why we did that whole mastermind on goal planning in November. It's so important to create those goals, to create the goalposts for those goals. Because like some of our goals that we're going to be talking about today, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, like you have to chunk it up. You have to have the KPIs, the OQRs, so that you know if you're actually succeeding in these things that you planned out or not. And if you're not, how can you pivot? How can you move to the next piece? And so it's a super critical thing to be able to actually map it out and get it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your goals on paper, TK?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I always write down my goals this year's goals are very simple. I found myself in previous years making such a long list of goals that it was daunting. And that's one tip that I would share with everybody is if you're new to setting goals, or even if you've been doing it a while, like I have, and you feel overwhelmed, start cutting back on how many goals you set. And this is just my suggestion. Other people will be like, oh no, make a bunch and hopefully you'll get some of them. I'm much better if I have 2 to 4 big goals and then everything else kind of accumulates around that and other things happen because of these 4 big goals that I have, if that makes any sense.
You know, one thing that we've been doing and that we should try to do is you might have a handful of big goals. I think they call them rocks, and a bunch of little things. But even the big goals that you keep are going to get so big that you might get overwhelmed by having them. So one good thing is to break those down into little goals, like weekly or monthly goals that you can accomplish steady progress and get them done. So I wanted to kind of bring up a different thing here, TK, and it's along the same lines. I think it was last week you made a post asking everybody in the Alliance group what kind of things you'd like to see more of.
Uh-huh.
And we'll open it up to less of as well. But those of you watching, we know how many there are, so we're looking for an exact number of comments. Let us know while we're here setting these goals for the year. Voice your opinion. What do you want to see more of?
Mm-hmm.
So TK, what was the sorry Zach, TK, what was the top results there?
The number one top result was more videos, which that was a given. I know that the people have been wanting more content, and that's on me. I have to admit, I've been cranking out some short little videos here lately. But once we get back, we're putting together a plan to be cranking out more content. So be looking for more podcast episodes. Be looking for more short little snippets of information that we're going to be putting out there. And also more appliance related stuff. We're going to be I'm going to be focused on putting out a lot more content specifically based around appliances, because that's the majority of our community, and we love our appliance peeps. I'm an appliance guy at heart. I don't know anything about other trades. I love the appliance trade, and I love being a part of it. We're definitely going to be revisiting my old YouTube video, 10 Things I Love About Appliance Repair. Me and EJ are actually talking about re-recording that here soon, because I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was, but when I made that video, somebody commented in the post and said, talk to me in 10 years. Well, it's been about 10 years since I made that video, and I still love appliance repair, whoever you were. So challenge accepted. I'm still here, and I still love appliances.
Talk about, when you say our community, for those listeners that are new, explain what that is, where they can go.
So if you're new to the morning grind, we are the Service Alliance Group. Myself, Mike, EJ, Zach, we own and operate the Service Alliance Group. And our goal is to go out there and help business owners start, operate, and scale their businesses. We got a bunch of resources for you. We've got an entire community called the Service Alliance Community, and we like to hang out over at the Appliance Alliance group. We're there all the time. I'm in there pretty much every single day. I'm much more active these days. EJ's much more active. So go over to Facebook, join the Appliance Alliance community. If you're seeing this on YouTube and maybe it's your first time popping onto it, make sure you follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to be pumping out a lot more content this year, and we're really looking forward to it. Was that a good job, Mike?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you, buddy.
Zach, why don't you read this one?
So Rob always coming in with the good stuff here. Just a thought, let's meet members maybe once a month, spotlight of the company you're choosing, short podcast, 15 and 20 minutes. So we do love this idea.
Mm-hmm.
It requires you in the community to not be chickens.
Yeah.
It's really not terrifying. I promise. You won't die. Just get on camera, have a conversation, and it'll be okay. Like one of the things that we get, because we've tried to do this a bunch of times, and what we get is, oh, I'm afraid to go on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's okay.
Yeah.
Neither do we.
Yeah.
We've had
Like,
several repeat
it's
just a conversation.
It's just a conversation. If you know how to talk, you can do it. I promise. Now, if you're mute, it might be a little tricky. We have to get the translator or something, or a sign language person. But I mean, it's crazy because I ask people all the time, "Hey, you want to do a interview or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm scared to be on camera." I understand where you're coming from, but like, get outside of your comfort zone. If you are a business owner, you have something to share that will help someone.
I think we just got our first volunteer.
Was that
Rob Jones?
Rob Jones. Yeah, Rob, let us know when you're coming on, brother. You dropped the comment. We are expecting to see you on the Service Alliance Group podcast.
In fairness, him and I still have a podcast that we've had in the works for a long time. It's just been a scheduling thing, mostly on his end.
It happens.
They keep him quite busy. No, but we want to talk about, you talked about 10 things I love about appliance repair. We're going to go 10 things not to do if you want to have a business in 10 years.
Yes. Oh, I could hop on that with you guys, because one thing that I can absolutely teach is what not to do. Because, man, the mistakes that I've made over the past 10, 11 years are just, Andrew, we're here. I'm in Cincinnati, and you left, man. I came to Cincinnati to visit you, and I realized you're not here, brother, but we're going to catch up next. When do you get back, Andrew? Because I'm going to be coming back through Cincinnati on Tuesday to grab my flight. Maybe we can catch lunch or something, or early breakfast.
So another idea we had, and definitely reach out, Andrew. We're missing you, bro. Another idea we had, TK and I, for videos is truck tours and tool bag dumps. I know a lot of people do the picture of the tool bag dump. A few people have done the videos. If you want to volunteer to be one of the truck tours or tool bag dumps with us with a live video or a recorded video, reach out to TK or I. We'd love to focus and get a spotlight on several people.
Yeah.
Those ideas and those videos generally do really well.
Yeah, absolutely. People love seeing how other people operate. I love watching. I mean, I'll go on YouTube and just watch people's van layouts of all trades and just like geek out on watching. Me and Zach Gesser are talking about watching camera videos. Like, I geek out on like truck tour videos. I can literally watch them for hours. I don't know about other people, but maybe I'm just a weirdo. Okay, you're coming back Sunday. All right. Yeah, hit us up if you're trying to meet up at some point. I'm going to be in town till Tuesday, hanging out with EJ, meeting the team and doing all that good stuff. So hope everybody that is at ASTI's had an awesome time. I know that I saw a couple folks out there that it was their first time to ASTI. So hopefully you got some good information out of it and come back and kill it.
So we're talking goal planning here, right? And one of the things I think a lot of people forget, and we're gonna start with the blue guy over there, and then we'll work our way around.
This guy?
Yeah, the blue guy over there.
We all agreed not to let him talk today.
Here you go. You
Well,
got this.
We kind of gotta let him.
Yeah.
So one of the things we kind of cover business goals and you know, every consulting company on the face of the planet, coaching company on the face of the planet talks about business goals. Many forget the most important aspect. You still have to have personal goals. You still have to set these personal rocks, these personal steps.
Mhm.
And so I want each of us to kind of talk about some of the personal things that we have going on this year. One or two or whatever, like how do we set these rocks that help support the goals for? I know you just went through a big thing in your coaching program where they kind of forced you to do it. So we'll start with you and then work our way around.
Yeah, I mean, I set my goals personally. Obviously, I got some financial goals. I got a lot of different personal goals, and when you start writing them down, they seem selfish, but you know, some of them are related to family, some of them are related to friendships, some are related to personal just wants, and you know, I've got my basic needs met, so everything above that is complete fluff and selfish things, but there's nothing wrong with that. But when you write that down, I talked about this on Tuesday's podcast. If you start with your personal goals and then do your business goals alongside that, you can make your business goals align with your personal goals and helps fulfill those personal goals to take care of your family and friends and be somebody that you can be relied on and to help a community, you know, feedback into charities, things like that. So that's a big goal of mine, is just to be able to support people more by growing my business. So that's kind of where I started. But one of the big things I also talked about on Tuesday is you can't have goals without having targets and set target dates. It's got to be time bound. And if you mark something as time bound, there has to be some kind of consequence that if you don't make that, and it's got to be painful enough to really make you try to actually get to it, right?
So share about your pain point that's about to happen,
Yeah.
Mike.
So, I mean, I said it on Tuesday, but I wrote down how I'm going to celebrate if I reached my target goal on this one point. And I didn't tell my wife. She was sitting right next to me at this conference. And I wrote down the goal, and it was I was going to celebrate it in two ways. And both of those ways directly benefited pretty much just her. And I was like, okay, she gets to quit her job and she gets a new car. And that's it. And she could be the stay-at-home grandma that she wants to be. And so then it came to the consequences, and I slid the paper over and she saw what I wrote. So what does she write? That I have to cook dinner for 6 months from scratch. No ordering dinner, no nothing.
That's like
Did-
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah. So
Are you going to hit either of those goals in
I
that
am-
time frame?
I am working really hard. I don't know.
Mike might be washing dishes
I
and,
told-
and making dinner for 6
Yeah,
months.
it's like 6 months is a long time, and it's got to be every single night. So I was like, wow, that's tough. you
Looks
know?
like Rob's calling out the three of you. I think I'm the only one wearing shoes right now.
Yeah, no shoes for a month. That
Yeah,
would-
no shoes in the house. That's the rule. DJ's breaking the rule.
I think he means no shoes for a month, that you can't wear any shoes for a month. That'd be a good
Oh,
pain
no.
point. But
making sandwiches.
anyway, that's it. It has to hurt. They taught us that if you're gonna have a consequence, it has to hurt. And that's why I slid that paper over to my wife, because I knew she'd make it hurt a little, you know, make it really uncomfortable. And to be honest with you, it has helped, you know, and I've never done it that way before, but it really, really has helped. It's helped me keep my eye on the ball and my eye on the prize and keep me flowing towards that. So now it's like I'm having some doubts, and I'm like, man, I put a BHAG goal. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Had I known she was going to put that, I would have made the goal a little lower. But I did put a pretty big, hairy, audacious goal on there, you know, a lofty goal.
Well, too.
And I was like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I'm glad I did, because it's really keeping me focused on where I want to go.
But it wasn't just your business goal. You set a personal goal coupled with a business goal.
Yes.
Coupled with consequences from that. And so like that was the point that I wanted to get across. Like, you have to put these things together. You can't be the best in your business if you're not the best.
Right.
Mhm.
And so working on yourself isn't selfish.
Right.
Not at all.
It's supporting your team. It's supporting your business. It's supporting your family. And so
Absolutely.
It's
Working on yourself is a duty. It's a duty to your family and yourself and your friends and your employees, and you have to do it. And I don't see any other way to have a happy life and succeed. And you know what? It can be a really pain in the ass to do it most of the time, but you come out the other end so much better for it, and it's worth going through that grind.
How
So-
about you, TK? What's your
So when it comes to personal goals, I usually break mine down into 3 different categories, and that's mental, physical, and spiritual. And I set small goals for each one. Right now, I'm trying to get in shape. Shout out to the health and accountability crew out there. You know who you are, gang, gang. And I'm going to get down to 185 pounds. That's my goal. That's actually a Q1 goal. I want to be at 185 by the end of Q1. And then once I hit 185, I'm going to get freaking ripped and jacked and just,
What's your consequence for that?
if I don't do it, I'm gonna be a fat bastard for the rest of the year. The consequence of not getting in shape, you don't have to make a consequence because it reaps its own consequences. And man, let me tell you, I already feel so much better. Me and Zach were at the gym at 10:45 last night. I've never been at the gym in my life. And not only that, but I didn't hate it. I wasn't miserable. I'm one of those people that my entire life I've hated the gym. I've hated working out, exercising, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if God just changed my heart this go around. I enjoy going to the gym. I think one of the big things that I did differently this time is I got someone else involved with me. Me and my son are going to the gym together, and it's been just a huge blessing. My mental goal for the year is to be conversational in Spanish by the end of the year. I've been studying Spanish for the past, I don't know, over 10 years. And I absolutely suck.
You just got a consequence done for you.
50 miles.
Yeah, 50 miles isn't that bad, man. It's not that bad.
That sounds horrible, actually.
It's fun.
I actually have thought about getting a bike.
Zach's going to try not to lie anymore.
So physical, hit 185 by Q1. Mental, be conversationally fluent in Spanish by the end of the year. I would like to be conversationally fluent in Spanish by the time I go back to El Salvador in November. I'm headed back to El Salvador next Saturday for a leaders trip. This will be my first leaders trip. If shameless plug, if you're watching this and you say El Salvador, that sounds cool, reach out to me. I'm putting together the first ever All-American team. We're going to call it Team America to go down to El Salvador with the Shelter Canada group, shelterhelps.com. And we're going to be building anywhere from 15 to 25 houses this year. So if you're like, man, that sounds really cool, I'd love to take the gospel to El Salvador. I'd love to share the love of Jesus in El Salvador. If that resonates with you, reach out. I'm trying to convince a couple of these guys to come with me. I've talked to several other Alliance community members. If you're on fire for Jesus or if you're not on fire for Jesus and you just want an awesome experience, reach out. God will do all the work. And then finally, my spiritual goal for the year, it involves my wife, and that's just to stay committed to this devotional plan that we have. We've been going through a devotional plan, and we're doing it throughout the year. And that's really important to me because, my wife went through a lot in 2024, and we're kind of on like a refinding ourselves journey in our marriage. We've been going through a lot lately, and man, these morning devotionals with her have just been a freaking game changer. Just waking up and praying with my wife, and just having that special time twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I encourage you guys, whoever you are out there, if you're not spending time with God, with your wife, you're not doing it. I'll just straight up tell you, you're not doing it right. I did it wrong for years, fellas, to learn from my mistake. If you're not spending time in the Word with the Lord, with your wife, you're failing as a husband. I'll just be completely blunt with you. So those are three of mine. Hopefully you got some encouragement. And EJ, what you got, buddy?
I got a little conviction, I guess. I was all fired up until you called me out.
Hey, like my old pastor used to say, if the shoe fits, put it on. If it doesn't, just smile.
So first off, I want to start by saying we got some people that did not comment on what they'd like to see from the Service Alliance group this year. Again, we have the count of how many people's watching. So we're keeping count of how many people have commented. Everybody comment something you'd like to see this year. So far we got Rob.
Good job, Rob.
Good job, Rob. All right. So personal life, I'm married and I have 4 kids. And this year, our third kid is going to be 18. Then we got a 13-year-old behind him. So we were supposed to be a lot farther ahead by the time we got to number 3, turning 18. Of course, you don't graduate until the following year, but a lot of our goals in our personal life are centered around that. I haven't really quantified it yet, but we do want to work on the finances, get a savings account built up a little higher, and we want to get to a living situation where we have lower bills and potentially have stuff paid off debt free in 2025. That's the goal, except for the house. That's a big goal there. In my business, EJ's Appliance Repair, we're making a transition to appliance sales as a service in addition to the repair side. So later this week, you'll see some videos and pictures of the new store that we're opening up. I want to warn you now that it's not open, so it doesn't look like it is a new store yet. So don't judge me on that. But we now have a team of 5 techs that are not named EJ, and I'm in the office. So this is new and big stuff for me. This is our 6th year in operation, and I have a shop tech, and we're working on a delivery crew. So there's a lot of big things coming, and it's going to take a lot more focus. So a lot of my goals inside the business are similar to the ones in my family, managing the details, staying consistent, and having the finances in check. Also debt-free 2025 for my business.
I was just reading Rob's comment. Also, Service Alliance at MSA in March. Selfish request. That's funny.
Maybe.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm moving into this new role where I'm not tech and leader. I am going to harness the challenge of being a leader in the business. and we're going to see how that works. But also to be more involved in the Service Alliance group and do a lot more videos with TK.
So my personal goals, I think I've shared this with at least on the podcast, but mine is 11% body fat by May. I am on track, heading that direction. Coupled with that is 365 days of motion. And as we were driving back from dinner, Mike was looking at me like, "Are you sure you need to go? Are you sure? Are you sure?" And I said, "I'm not letting my daughter down because it's coupled with other goals for the family." And so me staying in motion for 365 days and hitting my target movement and making sure that I'm getting healthy. If I don't do it, I'm letting my family down. And so, just really tying those things together. So there's 2 fitness goals there. And then reading the Bible with my daughter every day. And so before I left, we actually read ahead so that I wouldn't be behind when we got home. So we read a couple extra days just to make sure that while I was gone and traveling, we had done that reading, and it's important. We don't miss those nights. We sit down, she cuddles up next to me in the chair and go through the Bible, doing a 365-day plan.
That's awesome.
And so just really making sure that personal side, because one of the things that I realized first year in a new business, doing the roofing last year, it was a lot of stress. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of long hours. And I'm not afraid of long hours. I was working long hours when I was doing appliance repair. But it was just to a different level that I had never experienced. And my health and my mental wellness were not in line to support that level of business activity. And so this year in the slow season, and this, I guess this has always been my point, and this is why I plan the goals when we do our mastermind planning. I planned them for when I know you guys have slow season, because if you can build the habits in the slow season, then when it gets crazy and you don't know what to do, you know what to do.
Yeah.
You've already built the habits. The things are in place. You have that foundation. And so, you Southerners are experiencing an awful lot of snow right now. We left Chicago where it was nice weather, and we came down here to the South, and it's more snow than we've had in Chicago in 10 years. But
There's a lot of snow here.
But y'all aren't used to driving in the snow. And so
This is true.
In the North, we practice in church parking lots, doing donuts and learning how to steer into the skid. And, we learn how when we lose control to maintain control in the snow. And so it becomes ingrained in you. So like when that truck just starts to skid out, you know what to do. You don't panic. You go, "Oh, I turn into the skid." And you regain control. It's no different in your business. If you've built the habits, if you have built the goals, if you have built these steps along the way, when business and life throws you a curveball, you know how to steer into that out of control feeling, and you're able to continue forward.
Yeah.
And so it is so important to build these habits, build these goals, and have those rocks in place ahead of time. So if you haven't started personal and business planning yet, get on it. It's time to do it now.
Yes, Rob is correct. Cincy is not south. It's as south as the north gets.
South.
And by the way, I'm from northern Kentucky, just on the other side of the river. So that's as north as the south gets. So in this region, we do still learn how to drive in the snow and the parking lots and everything. But these Ohio drivers, we always know they don't know nothing, even though they get the snow too.
Well, in fairness, I've driven on a lot of roads. These Cincinnati roads are the dumbest laid out roads. I've missed more turns following the GPS.
Yeah.
Well,
We may or may
I've-
not have driven down a one-way street last night.
I
Now, I'm not saying who was driving, but if I
Mike.
had two fingers to point at someone, someone drove down a one. Nope. It
I
wasn't
like
us.
to think of Cincinnati now as purgatory.
Yeah. It's a beautiful city. I will say this. We went to overlook spot last night. What was the name of that church?
Mount Adams.
Mount Adams.
Holy Cross. Immaculate.
It was beautiful.
So
That's a good comment.
if you're an all access member, or even if you're not, go look at the website. It's actually there.
Yeah.
Mike spent a lot of time putting together a video tour of the website, and if you haven't checked it out, that's your fault.
Yeah.
It is actually there. We did actually listen to the feedback on that. Mike has walked through all the stuff. If you're an all access member, there's even more in-depth videos going through even more features behind it. So it is there. You just got to go and check it out.
Check it
Pretty
out.
prominent.
I will say this. I said there's 3 areas of goals. I forgot the 4th area, and that's financial. If you don't have personal financial goals for the year, I highly, highly recommend. We're already 37 minutes into this thing, and we never prayed. So rather than just say, oh, it's okay, we didn't pray, we're going to stop and pray real quick, because we want to pray for you guys out there in the Service Alliance community. And I just have a prayer request before we hop off here today. If you guys could keep us in your prayers today. These meetings can get crazy. It can be really, really fun, and some really good stuff can come out of it. But it can also be a little bit stressful, because we're serious about the Service Alliance group. We don't take the blessing that God's given us lightly, and we don't want to waste y'all's time, and we don't want to waste our own time. So if you guys could keep us lifted up in prayer today, just that God's will be done. That's our biggest request, is that God's will for the Service Alliance group, the 4 partners of us leading that, will be done. And we don't know exactly what that looks like, but that's why we're here. So I'm gonna pray real quick.
Hold on. I want to add a special Alliance group prayer request for Jason Shadowin's mother. I know Shayna and Austin went down to Orlando for ASTI, but Jason's back home making sure his mom's okay, going through some health issues. Make sure you remember them in prayer as well for strength and comfort as God's will is done.
Yeah. And if you have a prayer request, drop it in the chat. We'll be praying for you guys the rest of the week. And if you ever have prayer requests, send them to us. Like, message me directly. I'll pray. I love praying. That's one thing that I've never been shy about, is I love to pray, and I love to pray with people, pray for people. So, and just know we as the partners of this business, we pray for you guys. We do pray for our community. Not just on the show, not just, when you can see us, but we're praying for you guys every single day. So we appreciate your prayers as well. Lord, thank you, first and foremost, for this community that you've allowed us to be a part of. Thank you, Lord, for these 4 men sitting here, myself included. I just pray that today you would watch over us, Lord, guard our hearts, guide our minds and hearts to receive what you have, and work together to do the best we can for the community that you've allowed us to be a part of. Help us to set aside pride or ego or anything that's not of you, and focus on the greater good, which is helping business owners to fulfill their God-given purpose in life. And we thank you for each business represented here today. Lord, whether it's a one-man show that just got started, or a 20, 30 technician operation out there, been doing it for years, we just ask that you watch over them. and that each individual represented would seek you more, that would get closer to you. We can plan all the goals that we want, Lord, but if it's not aligned with your will, then it means nothing. So help us to understand your will better. Help us to not focus on ourselves, to get outside of our comfort zone and find our true purpose in life, which is helping other people. Whatever that looks like for each of us, just guide our hearts and minds to do better. And be with Jason Shadowin's mother, Lord, whatever she's going through, just be with his entire family. I lift up everyone returning from ASTI this weekend, Father, that you would just keep them safe, that each business owner that got some good information would come home on fire and ready to just change their business and make the appropriate steps they need to do better. We pray for anyone going through hard times right now, struggling in life, business, whatever, all those unspoken prayer requests. And we just thank you for always being there for us, even when we fail you. It's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Better late than never, right, fellas?
I want to go back to Saul and Rob's comment real quick because we actually just confirmed yesterday. So we'll make it here someday.
We will.
We will. But this year, our focus, and we can announce it because we did confirm it. Service Alliance Group will be teaching 8 business classes at PSA in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
In September. So if you haven't signed up for the PSA conference yet, stay tuned. We have some fun stuff coming. But we will be confirming our class list this weekend before we leave. The 8 classes that we're going to be teaching at PSA in September. So we're shifting a lot of focus. It's not that we don't love MSA. It's not that we don't want to be there. We just have a big focus on getting that in place this year and prepared for. We know that our time is limited, and so we wanted to make sure that we could give the best for what we had already committed to. So 8 classes, PSA business in September. It's exciting.
It's going to be epic. I mean, we're going to be in Vegas. We went to the PSA in Portsmouth, Virginia this year, and we had a blast. But I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Vegas. Hopefully we're going to pack that thing out. And if you haven't been to PSA before and you've been wondering what it's all about, I highly recommend staying tuned and seeing what we got coming down the pipeline, because it's going to be some cool stuff. Shout out to PSA and the whole PSA crew, and shout out to the MSA crew. We're not taking anything away from you guys. Maybe next year we can make it to MSA. These conferences and conventions that these places put on, they're awesome, but you have to plan it out, and you can't make it to every single one. If it was up to me, I would just bounce from conference to conference, hanging out with people and doing those things. But it costs us money. It costs the Service Alliance Group money. It costs my business money. It costs your business money when you go. But it is so worth it at the end. Just taking the information and knowledge you get and taking it home to your business and your technicians. So we're definitely excited about PSA.
Amen.
A to the men. We'll drop some. If you don't have any comments, we're going to wrap this thing up. But if you do, there was a comment that I saw. Where was it? Maybe we already hit it. Did we?
You've been hitting them kind of fast.
Yeah.
What's it about, TK?
What's that?
The comment.
I thought I saw a comment about something else that was relevant to. No? Okay. Zach's on it. I can't stay on top of him like he can. I got squirrel syndrome over here. What did that one say? If you get only one thing to improve your business yeah. And it's like every time we talk about these conferences, it's all about the networking, man. The networking opportunities at these places are just awesome. And that's what I want to see more of this year. I was talking to a young man recently who was wanting to go out on his own and start his own business. And he was like, do you have like one big tip that you feel is like, just the game changer for you and your business? And I would have to say it's networking, whether it's locally, whether it's across the nation. In this day and age, we are so fortunate to have the access to other people that we have. We can literally jump on a meeting. Just yesterday, we were on meeting with other people in other states, talking to other people. We take it for granted because it's part of our life, but it is such a huge blessing. So if you're not taking advantage of those things, if you're not reaching out to people in the Alliance community and building your own network, people are always like, well, what do I do for tech support? What do I do for this? Your tech support is your network. My tech support is my network. I don't ever call manufacturers for tech support anymore. I call my network. I call my Samsung guy. I call my LG guy. If it's business related, I call business people that are smarter than me. I have business people in my network that I know are smarter than me, that I know are doing better than me. And those are the people that I call. So like we always say, get some people in your corner, get a network going, and be a part of it, and give more than you take. That's my number one networking tip. Give more than you take to your network. What do you think, EJ?
Well, if I can't say anything about networking,
Heaven must be a Kentucky.
yeah, you know that song. If heaven ain't a lot like
Yep.
Dixie,
If heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I don't want to go. All right.
Is it my turn again?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I am not going to say networking, because that's my number one as well, calculated risks. I take a lot of risks. I should probably take more calculated risks, and not just risk overall. But use your. See, I'm about to go back to network, but get yourself a inner circle, or as I like to say, winner circle. Surround yourself with a bunch of winners, and when you get these crazy ideas, bounce them off of these people in your circle, and make sure they're calculated risks. But if you do the same thing every day, you're going to get the same results. So sometimes you got to do some things differently and be open to it. Just use caution.
If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got.
You mean you have to listen to the people that are advising you, or at least take into account what they're saying? What?
So there's a
What?
difference there. My wife uses that against me all the time too. I do listen to the advice of my inner circle. I don't always obey it, but
This is true. It goes in one ear, he hears it, and then it goes out the other.
That's not really listening.
So is this?
It's kind of, you remember the movie White Men Can't Jump, when they were talking about what was it, Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you listening to the music, or are you hearing the music?
So
He's hearing it.
So when it goes in and then out, there's a lot of stuff that happens on the inside before it comes back.
There
out.
you go. You're processing it at least.
So this is not an EJ roast. So I'm gonna pass the mic.
You know what
to,
we should start
Zach
doing
to give his
roasts
advice.
of Service Alliance community people, like they do on TV.
What do you want from me?
your advice to people if you were to give them advice.
One tip.
Not networking and not risks.
I always default to goal planning, because if you don't write down what you want to do, whether it's a personal goal, a business plan, I'm not gonna roast you. But I asked EJ if he had a business plan, and he said yes. And I said, "Can I see it?" And he said, "Well, I don't have it written down." And I said, "Then it's not a plan; it's a wish." And I said that in love, and I still say it in love, because I had a business plan too, or rather, a business wish. I never wrote it down, and so yeah, exactly.
I had to take my shot too.
100%. That's it. And so that's where I came with listening, like actually listening to the advice that's being given to you. I didn't listen to the advice that was given to me to write it down and to get it on paper, whether it was a goal, a business plan, whatever. If you don't put it on paper and you don't make it real, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And so whatever you're doing, planning wise, goal wise, get it on paper, get it down, track it, and make the adjustments as you need to. That's the number one mistake I made, was not getting it on paper. And now I don't not get it on paper. It is always written down. So
That's good.
I did get mine written down.
Well, before we wrap this up, I want to hear Mike's tip. So, Mike, give yours, and then we'll close this thing.
I got one, just one, because it's the one that's going to make the most difference in your business ever. And it's the only one that's going to make difference in your business. You can have plans, you can have goals, wishes, dreams, whatever you want to call it. You can write them down as much as you want. But if you don't take action and implement, nothing will ever happen. So that is the most important thing that you need to do, is take action and implement, and don't stop. You can implement and then let things slide, but that's not implementing. That's just taking an initial action, but implementing is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
You need to that's the only way you're going to get traction in your business, is by implementation and taking actions. And it doesn't have to be a big action or implement a major thing. Take some small steps. All those little actions lead up to big implementations and big successes. So you can't, they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Your business is the same way, but taking action, take that first bite. That's what you have to do.
And keep eating.
Yeah. And don't stop. You can take breaks,
I can get down with that,
but don't
diet.
stop.
I can get down with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Let's
man.
wrap it up.
Let's wrap
TK,
it up.
sign us out.
Thank you guys again for joining us. We're excited about today. As I said earlier, if you could keep us lifted up in prayer, we would ask that you continue to pray for the Service Alliance community as a whole. And if you're out there and you're going through it, struggling in your business, reach out, get involved. We appreciate you guys tuning in every day. If you haven't signed up for an all-access membership over at servicealliancegroup.com, you still have time to do so before tomorrow morning's customer education mastermind.
What's the promo code?
Promo code is Appliance Alliance, all caps, Appliance Alliance, all caps. You're going to get 20% off your membership. That's going to be $100 off our all access plan. So you're going to get it for $100 off. As I've said a million times, signing up for Service Alliance Group All Access Plan should be a no-brainer. It pays for itself. All you really got to do is get in there and start being a part and doing a thing. The membership's going to pay for itself, and then you're going to be able to have access to everything that's going on. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be presenting on customer education. EJ's going to be with me. We're going to be here live from the Airbnb. We have to keep it fairly short. We're going to be right around an hour because we're literally checking out at 11, and the mastermind's going to be over at 11 Eastern Standard Time. But if you haven't signed up, get your all access pass. Get into that mastermind tomorrow morning. We will be starting at 10 a.m. sharp, and we're going to be talking about customer education, probably one of my favorite topics to talk about because I am so big on customer education. So if that's something you're not implementing into your business, or if you feel like you're doing it, but you could be doing it better, be sure to tune in tomorrow. And we appreciate you joining us today, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.